What I'm going to be describing in this video is the Seismic graph window. Seismic graph window is available through two different places. You can go directly from the interactive display, or you can come in the Seismic display window, and here we can right click and say to graph all the traces, or what we'll do is we'll draw out a line and display those particular traces. So what we've got here now is showing the traces, amplitude and time. The blue is actually the average trace. Of course, all the zoom controls are available. We can display all the traces at once. We can add in notes. There's a number of different options for displaying the lines. The thing that's handy is looking at the frequency content. I'll just move this over here. So what we've got is our frequency amplitude spectrum up top and our phase at the bottom. We can also toggle this to a waterfall display. We can actually display all the traces, and I'm going to fill them. We actually see, it's interesting seeing the 60 cycle in there, which we can actually zoom into. So these windows are locked that way on zoom, and we can display in a dB fashion as well. Now this 3D display works as previous 3D display. I just hold the left mouse button down to rotate. I can use the shift to move in and out, and control to move that around. Now, one of the things that we're doing here, I'm just graphing. Now, since we're graphing data that actually is a disk file, it doesn't allow us to actually edit that file. But if we have data, suppose that, let's graph this, that's been a VISTA created data set, we'll see that we actually have a user edit function. This allows us to actually do stuff like zero and interpolate the traces themselves in here. We can view those traces and do filling and interpolating. We can save those to an ASCII or import them. Go back to the graphical. So this allows us to actually edit traces directly if you need to edit the traces or create data traces. That only occurs when you're working on data sets that have been created in VISTA. It will not let you edit data that's external disk file. So that's a quick rundown of the Seismic graph window.